Hey lovelies, so today I'm going to be doing realizing how I was gay first time story time kind of shit. That shit didn't rhyme right. I think it came out fucking weird. Let's just start it again. Okay. First time realizing I was gay. Like just let's just leave it that way because the other one just wasn't giving. Right. So just for people to know, I'm transgender if you didn't know by my channel. So of course, when I'm saying I'm gay, I know that I look like a female completely in some shape or form, but still initially had certain parts. So I call myself gay because I think it takes away from who I am if I were to refer to myself in any other way. But fuck it, let's just get right into story time. Right. So, if you do not know, I used to be a server at Applebee's. Um, I worked there for about 2, 3 years now. Great restaurant. I'd say the work environment isn't as great. I will say that could be like a separate story time because I feel like there was a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes at restaurants that you don't see, and it's like I ain't trying to sell my soul on this channel, so let's just not like talk about that right now. But like basically it was like a shit fest basically. So yeah. So this is like around now my like first no, my second year in Applebee's, right? So around this time we had like a truckload of people quit because again, wasn't a great working environment. A lot of people left because they needed more money. The work was just not enough in comparison to the amount of pay, and that is has been always been a big problem, especially in the server industry. So of course, my manager, right? She decided that she wants to hire some new staff. Of course, so she hires like about 4 or 5 people, a very copious amount. I became very close friends with. Unfortunately, I mean, we were still friends. Like, if I saw them and we met up, like, we're gonna be still hanging out. Like, we're gonna still be kicking it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we don't call each other, we don't talk with each other because, well, distance just made things shitty. But that's besides the fucking point. I'm going into this shit too much, too deep. Listen, so she basically hires like 4 or 5 people. So she introduced these motherfuckers, but she knew she was gonna hire them like regardless. I guess she just wanted to go through the legal way of it. And one of them I was tasked to train, apparently. His name, I am going to call him Adam because I am not trying to say anything. Because I don't know if he's gonna like see the channel. Probably not because we lost connection. Um, But if he does see the channel, I mean, to be fair, like, we still would probably end up falling in love all over again, and that would be a good thing. But I'm going to say Adam because fuck it. So, me and Adam, right? Um, I had to train him for the first 2 weeks, and it was going good the first week. He was a little lazy, I will say, a little bitchy, aka fag vibes, but he was bitchy, and um, he was just like always having like a little problem with like something. And in his last week of training with me, I remember like a server. We're gonna call her Alex. I'm getting these shitty ass names. I better remember these names throughout this story time. I swear to God, because I'm gonna end up like naming these motherfuckers like 30 different names. I'm gonna have to remember this whole new random like motherfuckers I just created. But yeah, so Alex was like, one day she was like, oh, he has nice arms. Like, we were in the kitchen, so I guess like it was just like a random conversation. And she was like, oh, he looks nice. What do you think? At the time I went by, I believe, well, my dead name. Um, and of course she dead names me. And I say, I don't know. His forearms look nice. His arms look good. Um, AKA, if you're straight as fuck, don't say that. That's not the straightest thing to say. I listen, at the time, I didn't even know like what the fuck would you expect me to say? Um, like what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, here's the thing. right? If you're straight, I'm pretty sure, like, if someone asked you, like, what do you think about him? I feel like you'd be like, I don't know, nigga. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't really like talk about really what he looks like, or like automatically go like to his like bodily features. I was just like, his arms look nice, I guess. Like, and she looked at me mad weird, and he stared at me mad weird, and I was just like, in my brain, I'm like, why the fuck did you just say that? Like, here's the thing. When I have brain block, or basically this bitch is stupid moment, my brain just says any shit, and I'm just like, say it, and I'm just like, you sure I should say it, brain? And brain is just like, yeah, this sounds good. This works. Trust me, bro. And I'm just like, okay. I say it, and then I realize, fuck, oh, why did I say it? Fuck you, brain. Like, damn, why did you make me say this shit? There's nothing good to say. And then and then my brain is just like completely gone at this point. So I say it, and he stares at me, she stares at me, and I'm like, I fucked up, at this point. So whatever. So the day ends, we both clock out. Like, we just went back to being servers. Like, we didn't really think about that too much. Me realizing like, oh, that was kind of awkward. So second day, right? So the next day now, we and him are openers, right? Which means there's one manager, and it's just like me and him. So we come in like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I came in early before him. I got ready, put my clothes downstairs, and I started like putting together the whole like restaurant, whatever. And while I'm putting away the whole restaurant, the host comes in, which she's my bestie. I'm pretty sure she won't care if I use her name, Christina. Shout out, I love you, girl. We always fuck with each other. She's my boo. She's my boo thing. Um, and basically, so she's like getting the host stand ready. I'm like getting all the tables ready because this nigga's coming late and it's gonna be tight. But I'm not trying to think about it too much. He shows up, right? So I see him. And again, like I feel like excited seeing him. I'm like, well, I feel like, maybe I just like friends. I just like people. So maybe that was just like a people thing. But I was watching him. He was going downstairs to put away his stuff, whatever. Comes back up. So just disclaimer, right? So that day I was also wearing a choker. Now at the time I was not out. I wasn't out with nothing because there was nothing to be out with. You understand what I'm saying? But I was like going down this rabbit hole of like extremely gay shit I wanted to wear. And I was just like choker time. Today was just choker time. You know what I'm saying? So I wore a choker. And I passed by the host stand and I see him and her were talking. And he looks at me and he says, doesn't dead name look kind of sexy, like fuckable with this choker on? And I'm just like, wait, wait, wait. Like, I stopped for 3 seconds. Like, I swear to God, I stopped for 3 seconds. And I'm like, what? My brain was on fire. I was just like, this nigga did not just say what I think he just said. He did not say what I think he just said. So I'm like, so I turn around. But you see, the thing is, we could deny all the bullshit and pretend like we didn't hear shit. But I know I heard shit. I blushed as fuck. I turned around, looked at this nigga, and I started blushing. When I say my face was beet red, it was beet red. Okay, it looked like I just like either drank like a truckload of alcohol or I was embarrassed as fuck. Okay, so I look at him and he sees me and he sees I blushed really fucking hard. Like I was like cheesing like very hard. And I'm thinking like to myself, this is not a normal reaction. So I leave. So I go into the kitchen because I panic. You know what I'm saying? Like gay panic. Ah. I go into the kitchen and I'm trying to like push down my cheeks, like on my face, because when you're like blushing, somehow when you blushing like really hard, it's hard to like stop. Like your muscles just get stuck in that position. And I was just like, fuck, 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 fuck. I don't like this. I don't like this. So when I finally get them to stop, right? The host tells me, that, like, she comes in the kitchen after me and says, "Hey, we have a customer." I'm like, "Okay." So I go out there, I take their order, and they had breakfast. There was like pancakes, oranges. It was like a couple. So like the girl had like pancakes, oranges. Like she had like eggs or some shit, and the guy had like, I don't know, like, so it was like a breakfast steak thing we were doing at Applebee's at the time. I don't remember. So I made the order. I put it on the POS. I go back in the kitchen. So I prepped the drinks. I brought those out, and the chef was pretty quick. So the food was pretty done pretty fast. So the chef was done, and he wasn't in the kitchen. Like he just went downstairs. I think he went to use the bathroom, and there was just two plates in like the heating stand or like the window, right? So I was about to grab them, but Adam comes behind me. Okay, I did not know this. Okay, because I'm looking forward, right? Mind you. So I see him come up behind me mad close, and his like chin is on my right shoulder. I look over and I'm saying, like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, nothing. Just seeing what you're doing. Again, I feel like, listen, if there's a straight guy out there, I feel like this is like number one. Don't let a nigga put his chin on his head on your, I can't talk. Don't put his head on your shoulder or any part of your body. Niggas don't touch. Okay, I don't know if this is like a rule or something, but at the time, I was completely calm and okay with this. Mind you, this was before surgery. Like, so I had bottom surgery like way later on down in my life. So I'm basically saying I still had some of my bits, right? And this is gonna be important for this story, cause he's like, what does he say? I think he said some shit like, some shit along the lines of, okay, I'm not doing anything, just seeing what you're doing. And I'm like, cool. So before I grab the plate, I feel something thrust on my eyes. Now, I'm not going to go into details too much, but because this podcast is going to become no longer PG-13. It probably wasn't PG-13 after a certain fucking point. I ain't even going to lie about this shit. But basically, he thrusts in, like he pushes his crotch onto my ass. Again, at this point, if you're straight, I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to like fuck up this nigga, like you're gonna want to fight. Instead, Lady Boner just went up, and I was like, oh hell no. That's all I said to myself. I said, hell freaking no. There is no way right now that I am bricked up while this nigga is grinding on my ass. There's no fucking way. So I, again, right? Let's be real here. Gay panic. So I grab the food out the window and I fucking run. You know what I'm saying? And this time, I mind you, I still think I'm straight as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, nah, like, what this nigga doing? Like, nah, like, nah, like, you know, at the time, I'm like, I'm is do people say pussy gobbler? Like, I love titties and shit. Yeah, like, at the time, that's my head. I'm like, yes, this is just like a fluke in my head. But I'm like walking and I'm like bricks between my legs. Mind you, this lady boner is not going down. And I'm just like, thank God I'm wearing an apron as a server. Because other than that, this Applebee's was going to turn into a Hooters with me walking up with a lady boner sticking out like that. So I go over, I drop off their food. And mind you, I'm still like very confused. I'm just like, nah, like, there's no working way that I am like, no, I'm not, no. So basically, I go to the POS now, right? Because I wanted to just make sure their table order was still there, like everything was good, you know what I'm saying? So mind you, the POS is on the other side of the restaurant. So the customers can't see me and the host can't see me, right? So when I walk over to the POS, he comes over me on the POS and he does this grinding thing. Mind you, I just got my lady boner down. Shit went right back up in the air. At this point, I said, nah, I'm turned on by this, but this can't be normal. This can't be okay. So I'm freaking out because now I'm having an existential crisis. I'm like, this is not okay. So I'm like, okay, this is this. So okay. So here's what I did. Okay, you can judge me the fuck all you want at this point. I grinded back. I grinded back because listen, it felt good, and I mean, like, I didn't have to really ask for consent because this nigga was the one doing it to me. So when you really think about it, when you think about it, when you think about it, I was just reciprocating the emotions, you know what I'm saying? So I started like grinding back because I'm just like, this shit feel good, you know what I'm saying? Like my eyes, and then so I'm so hot right now, it's crazy. So he whispers in my ears, like he pushes me against the wall. He whispers at me. He says, "Do you want to kiss me?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know if I'm like into this thing." Mind you, I'm brick this apron. I'm telling you to on God. So I'm just like, I don't know if I'm down for this. Like, I don't know. So I left and I went into the kitchen. Like I scammed. Gay panic time. Like before I ran, like he literally told me, he was like, do you want to go into the bathroom? Like, okay, I'm skipping so much. Okay, basically after he said like, do you want to kiss? He's like, we can go in the bathroom and we can do some stuff and then we can come back out. Again, I was like, yes, yes. And my body was telling me yes, but my mind was telling me no. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So I'm just like, I gay panicked and ran away, and I ran in the kitchen. So I went in the back where they do like utensils. This nigga follows me, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. He's like, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna help you with these. I'm like, okay, cool, because I told him I need some, and like, if you have a rush, we're gonna really need utensils out there. At this point now, my mind been forgot. Like, my lady boner finally just went down, and I'm chill. And he's like, he massages my shoulder, and he kisses on my neck. I close my eyes, and I love that shit. There was no other way to fucking explain it. And it just felt amazing. Best fucking experience ever. And of course, I think someone did catch us in the end. Like, I swear, a coworker came out of like an office somewhere, and she was like, I think she caught us in the act. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's okay. It's fucking okay. I don't really care because she fucks with me, and she already know I'm a gay bitch, so it don't fucking matter. So yeah. Um, so that was like my first ever story realizing I was gay. So, you know, if you loved it, write in the comments, obviously. But this story's not really done yet because realizing you're gay, this is like half the battle, right? Because you could be bi, you could be pan, like, there's options. So how do you know, like, you're straight dickly, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, so here's what I did. So he quits, right? So this guy leaves the Applebee's a very long time ago, never got his number, nothing, right? So this is like a year later now. A person, so okay, so basically there was a night I was working as a server, and apparently we had a rush. So I had like 5 tables at the same time. This girl comes up to me while I'm walking back into the kitchen, says, I recognize you. I remember you from middle school. I said, oh my God, well, cool. You know what I'm saying? At the time, here's the thing. I wasn't really on HRT. At the time, I was non-binary and I dressed and looked as a lot of customers describe me as the lady boy that works at the Applebee's. So basically, I was even surprised she recognized me, but I didn't give her the time of the day, right? So I go back in the kitchen and I never saw her again. I don't know where she was sitting in that restaurant or what, but he probably was watching me the entire night and just realized there was just no opportunity to talk to me. So a week later, I'm working a night shift again. This time it was calm and chill, and apparently a table came in. This bitch was at this table. So I'm like, okay. She has like three other friends. So I come up to him and say, hey, I'll be a server today. What can I get for you guys? And she was just like, hi, do you remember me? I said, yeah, I do. From, I guess, that night. I guess when it was like busy or whatever. Mind you, I'm tired. I want to go home. And I'm like, why is she making conversation? I hate when customers make conversation because, listen, we're not friends. You understand what I'm saying, nigga? Like, I just want to get you your food and just, like, can you please, like, fucking leave? You know what I'm saying? So, so I said, okay. So I said, yeah. And I said, so can I get you guys anything to drink? Any appetizers? So I basically blew this bitch off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't interested. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no interest there. Like, why do I want to talk with you right now? Like, why would I have a whole full on conversation at this table? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So she gives me that side eye. Like, bitch, I was trying to talk. And you just looked away. Sorry, bitch, I did. So the friends ordered a drink, whatever. And when I bring them back in their drinks, and I think they ordered an appetizer too, she looks at me and says, "You're cute." I said, "Aw, thank you so much." And I was like, "So is there any entrees you guys would like or anything like that?" And I said, "Oh, thank you." So is there any entrees or stuff I can get for you guys? And she's just like, everyone just look. The friends look at me with the weirdest look ever. Now, I don't know much about straight shit. I don't. At the time, well, I understand females basically 100%. It's ingrained in me. But at the time, I really was confused why they looked at me that way. I know, as they say, common sense, I guess, isn't common. So they're like, I I walk away and I hear them whisper and say, I think they're gay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, at this point, it came out as non-binary, but I was asexual at the time. So I have like, I might post it on my YouTube, like some pictures for y'all to see. I had like asexual shirts, asexual flags everywhere. Like, I fucking loved it. So at the time, I wasn't really gay. And this was like almost like a year later since my first gay encounter. So, so I didn't really do much since then. So I really just saw myself as asexual. Um, so after I bring them their food, their entrees, they're about to leave. She says, hey, beautiful, can I get your number? And I'm like, I guess. I mean, sure, I suppose. And I said, okay, what name would you like me to put? She was like, oh, Michaela, whatever. I'm like, cool. I feel bad what I did because I'm such an asshole, but it is what it is. So basically, we became a thing since that day, right? So at this point, I quote unquote had a girlfriend at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, this is a thing now. Great. Again, I feel like a straight guy should be more like enthusiastic. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be fucking soon. We're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be doing that. I was just like, okay, that this is a thing. Like, it's just a thing that I somehow got roped into, and I really have no idea how I got into this. So I'm at this point now. She keeps inviting me to dates, asking me to hang out with her, and basically, these dates were not given. there were times where I would keep making like excuses not to go out with her. Like I would constantly not ask. Like she would ask me to come over. Do you want to come over today? Do you want to come over? And I'm just like, nah, I'm busy. No, I'm this. No, I'm that. Bitch, I'm not busy. I'm watching anime. I'm watching gay porn at home. I don't have time for you. So eventually I say yes a couple times, and I went over this one fateful time. She wanted me to help put together something, so I helped her over there. So I came to her room. She brought party favors. And here is where I feel like a lot of gay people are going to have like a revelation. Now, when I look into the gay community, just so it's clear, gay people aren't necessarily repulsed by females. I've had gay people say, like, yeah, if a female put their hands down there and they were to play with it, it could get hard. It's not to say, like, because it's stimulation. But some say, like, not really. Some say, like, it could happen, but it's not going to last. It'll just get soft because you're just not into it. Now, I thought in this moment, I said, well, I'm going to find out if I'm gay or not then. This is going to happen. This is going to be a thing. And if this shit goes sideways, I guess I'm gay as fuck. So now, at this point, even though I'm telling to myself this in my head, I'm actually intending on not doing it. Like, I don't want to have sex with her, honestly. So we get to this point. She says she has to leave for a minute, so I'm busy putting together party favors because you know your girl love candies and toys and shit. She comes back born naked, and in that moment, I thought, okay, I should be brick hard. I should be excited. I should be, I don't know. I should like motion her to come to me. Let's do this thing, right? But instead I said, oh, okay. And I said my mom was calling me and I had to go in that moment. And I felt really bad because she cried. At least I heard her. At least I think I heard her crying. And a friend told me that when I left, that she basically bust out in tears because I made her feel ugly. But in that moment, I realized it wasn't for me. And it wasn't more like some people tell me maybe you were just scared. But it's a feeling that that's distinctible. Like, fear is different. For me, I know when I'm fearful in that. Like, I know when I'm not afraid of trying something, right? But I know when I'm feeling that I'm uncomfortable and don't want to do this. Because I know that this is not for me. Like, to me, it's like, oh, this is like a whole nother level I'm not into. And that was the feeling. That cold, stone hard feeling of being repulsed by it. Like, oh, this is not for me. Like, just like how straight guys are repulsed by the idea of a guy, like, touching their, or, like, giving them some dick. So, yes. So, I'm back. I had to just, like, leave for, like, a second. I just came back. So, yeah. So, where was I? Right. So, it was a great experience. To learn. Obviously, I feel bad for her, and I do recognize her, and in fact, she was a close friend in middle school, but she was more of a popular kid in middle school than it was the latter. I wish I was able to not make her feel shame like that, because I didn't know what the right answer was at the time. You know, when you're not interested, especially if someone does something like that so sudden, you know, I wish it would have been a better chance, but it's not my fault. I didn't know. So yeah, that is my story of realizing I was gay. A lot of people were probably gonna ask me things like, you know, how else do you know? You know, like, because here's the thing, right? I don't want to talk about this because I felt like a lot of friends and people I know personally who are so uptight and stuck about this idea of their sexuality that sometimes you leave this room to think, like, what if, right? And people usually ask me so many times, like, how do you know you really are? And I think it boils down to the sexual experience and really, like, if you were down for it. And what I mean by that is, how intrigued and interested were you by the whole situation? Because I still firmly believe that anybody could be turned on by any stimulation. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not, even if it's an outside force, right? Like vibrations. Sometimes if I used to sit on the motor in the back, like in a bus, that sometimes would turn me on, because even though clearly I'm not excited, I don't want to do anything, my lady boner says to act up, because I'm just like, this feels kind of good. So that is something that I've noticed a lot. Some people say, well, you haven't had penetrative sex. I think it all boils down to like straight people. It's like looking at a guy and saying, well, how do you know you're really straight if you've never been butt fucked before? Like, you haven't been fingered, you haven't been given head by a guy, like none of that. And I feel like that's a fair thing to say, but I also believe, because just knowing is just, it's just no. You know, like, I feel like if in that moment, say like that didn't freak me out even more, and say like for some reason I was just like, okay, this is not going to be the way to find out. I need to get to stage 3 to find out. I sometimes think about it. I sometimes imagine, and I could realize I'm not into that. I'm not going to. To me, and this is just, you know, as a trans girl, to all my fellow ladies out there, tea or not, I would not put my thing in it. It just looks nasty. It looks weird. That's just my opinion. I just don't find it interesting, but it's just, that's how you know when you're repulsed to some extent. Like, at what point does it become very uncomfortable? I feel like, and I know people also put this fine line, like, sex can be uncomfortable in some shape or form. Like, sex is not going to be designed to be like 100% just like, oh, this is fun to do. Of course not. And that is 100% true. Sex in some shape or form isn't just going to be a bed of roses. However, your comfortability, you just have to see where your discomfort is coming from, right? Because if you're in bed and your discomfort's coming from, like, okay, trying to figure out how to put on a condom, because I struggled with that my first time, or how to, I don't know, like, okay, if you're having penetrative sex, how do I put it in? You know what I mean? Like, little basic things, like discomfort in the sense of trying to figure out how to do certain actions or behaviors, or how to turn on someone, how to like foreplay. These are all little things that you're going to learn over time, because a lot of us like watch a lot of porn anyways growing up, and we see like this whole facade of like what it really is, like what it's supposed to be like in bed, but in reality being in bed is nothing like what you see on Pornhub. So really and truly, like, it's not, it just really isn't that, you know? So my discomfort came from the idea of I was repulsed touching her, repulsed kissing on her, and repulsed putting anything in her. That was my repulsion. I didn't like it, and I found it to be disgusting. That's just something I just thought is just very disgusting to do. I wouldn't do that with a woman. I just thought that that's just either A, wrong, or just really weird to do. But that's just me. But I feel like that, again, is just a similar discomfort that straight men would have when it comes to a gay guy, right? If a straight guy was to see another man, his discomfort wouldn't be, oh, I just don't know how to put it in his butt. It's more of, I don't want to put this in your butt. You know what I'm saying? That's when you kind of can tell that there's a disconnection there. And it's not my first time interacting with females in the sense, like, in an intimate level, obviously. But it didn't go well, or I did not like it. And that's just how you know. You know, you just have to look at that, think about it deeply, and it's not too hard, you know? So I would always say I'm happy for all these experiences, because it shaped me and it helped me to realize a key part of me that always felt so dead. I always felt like I'll never be able to be happy in bed. I always felt like I'll never be able to date a person, because I didn't know what I liked, but some through so miraculous and thing I now do know, and that is the most important part of it. And I feel like that is more than enough for me. So thank you, lovelies. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Um, I think it was a great gay story. I think for those who are in the community, definitely would have got a little turned on by the story a bit. I was trying to keep a little PG-13, but you really won't get the feelings if I really don't explain like everything I did. Um, Also, stay tuned because in my next podcast there will be, again I will repeat it, there will be another story time. I'm probably gonna talk about my worst gay sex experiences because I've had a truck ton of them. Um, I will say, and I think that'd be like a very fun story to say because I think for someone who finally came out and just like wanted to just get it over with, like try it for the first time. I ended up having to try it in a lot of ways that were not fun. Let's just put it like not fun at all. Um, so we're gonna get into that, and you're gonna love it. So, bye. Love you guys, and mwah, stay beautiful.